Before we get started with today's episode, I would like to thank our sponsor, Atmos Planning, who 3 months in a row has been a sponsor of the podcast, showing massive support. Shout out to Robert Phelan at Atmos Planning, and let's begin. Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, the #1 podcast in Colorado Springs. I'm sitting here today with Heather McBroom with Precision Services. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me on today. I am building kind of a pioneering business, a one-stop business shop, if you would, for small businesses in Colorado Springs. We provide a number of services, commercial insurance, business registration, bookkeeping and payroll, marketing, virtual office assistance, and legal protection for your business. And the reason why we do so much is because a lot of our clients are small businesses or startups, and they come to us needing a lot of help, a lot of information, a lot of connections to resources, and various services. And so we thought it would make more sense to be able to come to one place and get all of your needs taken care of than having to seek out a separate professional for each of those things and hoping that they communicate or work well together. Being able to come in and say, these are the things that I'm struggling with. So we meet with our clients on a quarterly basis to say, hey, what is going on in running your business that you need help with? And we essentially piece out the things that they need help with based on the level of importance to getting to the next level or getting to obtain their goals for their business.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
So when working with that's cool. So do you work with like contractors or do you have everything in-house?
We have everything in-house.
Okay.
Partly because I'm a control freak, but
okay.
more so because I want that level of professionalism. I want the culture to remain the same between all of those businesses. I want the communication to be very clear. Mm-hmm. So a good example is if we do your bookkeeping and we also do your insurance and it's audit time or we're meeting with you monthly, we can make adjustments on your policy to keep up, and it doesn't require any more work on your part. So we're constantly in the background working together as teams to make sure that all those things are getting done correctly and that everything is running smoothly for your business.
This is a show where we have real conversations with entrepreneurs and business owners who are mostly in Colorado Springs doing things in the community of Colorado Springs. So what inspired you to start this business? Where did you start at? Was it just one of those services?
It was. So
Okay.
I started with insurance. Most people that know me know I'm a commercial insurance agent. I've been in this industry selling insurance for about 21 years without dating myself. So that is really what I'm known for and what kind of brings people in the door. Over the years, I have I'm very passionate about small businesses. I understand the impact they have on our community locally, and I really like to support and nurture small business owners. So we really decided that as we were helping people, there was a lot of confusion as to, did we register our company correctly? Did we do this correctly based on the advice of our accountant, based on the advice of our attorney? How does that fit in with insurance? And what we were realizing is not that the information was incorrect, but those three people, your insurance agent, your accountant, and your attorney, really need to be talking to each other. Yes. Because what they tell you is based off of what they know. So the law or the IRS rules or the insurance policy, and nobody's connecting the dots. So a lot of times they would come to us and they weren't set up with the right structure. They had registered the business in their wife's name. Let's say they wanted to be a woman-owned business, but she wasn't active in the business. So then we're having to write a workers' comp policy because they weren't an owner. And so just kind of connecting those dots and saying, let's talk about not only you as a business, but you as a person, and make sure that before you jump and make those decisions, you know all aspects of it. How does your insurance think about that? How does the law think about that? And being able to come in and have those conversations with all those professionals at once, instead of trying to run yourself ragged in those beginning stages of trying to find out what is the best thing to do for your business.
So when working with your client, is it basically hands-free for them and all that stuff? Or do you have to, you probably have to communicate with them, of course, I assume. But
yeah, no,
I guess what I'm asking is, how does communication look like with your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we say it's a partnership.
Okay.
I don't believe that we do any justice for anybody if it's not a partnership. For example, bookkeeping. If you're not actively involved in reviewing your reports and looking at your books and understanding the data that's in there, and I just take it over and do the day-to-day operations and don't have that communication, that's not of any benefit to you. Same with insurance. If you don't understand your risks appropriately, we come out to your location. We talk about risk management. We talk about all the things that go into the insurance, employee versus independent contractor, and how that affects your business. So we are so hands-on with our clients that I think at some point they almost become like family to us. We develop those relationships that last years upon years with them in helping them to develop their businesses. So we absolutely say it's a partnership.
And you work with someone on this floor, right?
I do, yes. Yeah. Several people in this building.
That's crazy, yes.
Yes.
How long have you been running your precision services as a business?
It is a little bit over 3 years.
Okay, so still a startup.
Yes, I would say still a startup in that growth stage of, learning to step back and not work as much in the business, but on the business and grow and find talent that will really nurture our culture and our beliefs and really help us to reach as many entrepreneurs as possible.
Yeah. So with this business, what have been some of the struggles that you faced starting it? What are some of the lessons that you've learned, I guess? Because I'm sure there's probably a lot.
There is. I think a lot of it is understanding when to incorporate a new service. We like to offer a lot of things for our clients, and so really trying to pinpoint when is a good time to bring on additional services. Do we have the staff for that? Really understanding more of the management and leadership side of it. I've always been very good at insurance or helping run businesses, but when you bring it to this level, there's so much more to learn. And so I really rely on other entrepreneurs in the community to help mentor me, several business coaches that I've worked with that help mentor me, as well as all the involvement that we do in the community. So we are chamber members for the Colorado Springs Chamber and for the Women's Chamber. I hold place on several boards and committees. And so getting involved to learn as much as I can to be able to give that information and that knowledge to my clients.
Okay. So you mentioned something about the difference, how a subcontracted versus an employee affects your business. What is that difference?
So there are several,
okay.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest challenges is it depends on who you talk to, right?
That's what I was thinking. It would probably be a base to base, and you have to diagnose it essentially.
That's right. And the reason why it's so different is because there are several people or several entities that have a say in that. So the IRS has their set of rules as to what's the difference. Then Colorado State does, and they have it in two places. They have the unemployment rules, but they also have workers' comp. And then your insurance policy also has something to say about that. So really digging in and looking at all of those things with our clients and saying, where do you feel that this person is best fit based on all of these parameters, and then helping them to, one of the things we do in VA services is subcontractor management. And that is so huge because your biggest risk are subcontractors. So we talk with them if they determine this is the route they want to go. We make sure that all their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed and that they are ready to move forward and still protect their business and be compliant. But one of the biggest misconceptions is, well, if I don't control them and, they kind of take the IRS rules and they say most people are going to be independent contractors. But Colorado workers' comp law is probably what I say runs the show. And for them, it is very clear, black and white. If you do not own at least 10% in a business, you cannot waive your right to workers' comp. So workers' comp is a policy for employees. So that's your biggest hurdle, is if whoever you are having work for you in your business does not own their own business, they are most likely not an independent contractor because of our state law. And that's different in other states. Workers' comp is a state-by-state thing. So a lot of the people who came to me had worked with business coaches and worked with attorneys and said, nope, we have a subcontractor agreement. Everybody's going to be a sub. Then we talk about insurance and they go, wait a minute, I had no idea that was a rule. Now they're trying to bring in their people, make them open companies to be compliant. And, the rules always rest on, if something happens, it's going to go in front of a judge, and the judge is going to make that ultimate decision. So you've got to make sure that you're confident what you're doing is not skirting around the law, but is actually doing what you need to do to be compliant. So we deal with a lot of that, I would say, on a daily basis.
And that would be whether it's subcontracted or employed?
Correct.
Okay, sweet. So what are some of the, what are some of the problems that people come to you? What are some of the commonalities you see?
I would say independent contractors versus employee, how to run their business that way. A lot of people don't understand the financials behind their business, even if they've either done the bookkeeping themselves or they had somebody, more of the strategic business planning. So we work with you to make sure that you have budgets and we know what you're, making the connection between the home and the business, and how do you run a successful business and know what your bottom line numbers are, and reviewing that stuff regularly. So we help them not only with the education piece, but setting those good habits. One of the things that we require our bookkeeping clients to do is block out 4 hours of your day on the second day of every month. You review your bank statements, you review your budget, you review everything to see, did you hit your numbers? Did you not? Where do you go from here? And a lot of times as business owners, we're so busy doing the day-to-day stuff that stuff doesn't get done. And then we get a year or two into it and we've run ourselves into the ground. We're exhausted and we still have no better idea of how to run or scale our business. So we do a lot of that side of things with people. Usually when they come to us, they're through the first year, they're frustrated. They don't know what they don't know, and they don't know how to get anywhere else. And so a lot of it is just that discovery of, where are our struggles? Do we have enough business? Do we need to do marketing? Do we have an understanding of our financials, or is that really where we need to work first? Are we properly insured? Are we running a very risky business that doesn't have the right protections? So because we do so much, we're able to look at that and say, here's our 4 pillars. What are the pain points? And then go through and say, what are the most important things? What can we work on this month to get closer to that goal?
What are the four pillars?
So the 4 pillars for us are legal. So whether it's, are your contracts legally binding? Are you signing contracts without an attorney looking them over? Are you structured properly? There's a lot of confusion over when you are a business and you have S-Corp status, that makes you a corporation, when S-Corp is really a term just for the IRS. So I see businesses that are misstructured on the Secretary of State. So we look at the legal side of it. What is your business like legally? Then we look at marketing. Are you busy? Are you reaching out to existing clients and nurturing those relationships? Are you getting in the community and doing networking and making those relationships and building those referral partners? Where do you need help in that marketing aspect? Or are you busy and that's something we don't worry about right now? Then we have the insurance side. Let's look at your risk. Is everything covered properly? Does your policy classification match what you do? Are there any exclusions on that policy that are really not a benefit to what you're doing and something you need to be concerned about? And are there any gaps in the coverage? Is there things that you have an exposure for that you don't have the coverage for that you need to at least be aware of? We tell you, you don't have to buy everything. We show you what gaps exist and what risks exist, and we show you how to cover those risks. Doesn't mean everybody's going to jump on that right away, right? So we build what we call an insurance portfolio with you as you go forward. And then the last piece is the financial. What do your books look like? Do you understand? Have you separated out income accounts? And do you know what your cost of goods sold are? Like what are your costs that truly come out of your pocket to create the service you create or the product you create? And how do you watch those numbers and look for red flags of when you need to up your prices or when something else isn't going right? And do you understand your reports? And are you using the system the best that you can? And we do a lot of teaching you how to streamline processes and make sure that you're being as efficient as possible until you're ready for that growth and can hire people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thanks.
Like how like I could imagine like you're basically a partner with each business you work for is what I'm imagining, and that's pretty cool. So what do you think some of your proudest moments are in this business?
You know, I say every single success story from my clients is my biggest success story. Hearing that, you know, people come back and say, man, Heather, this last year has been eye-opening. I know more about my business. I feel confident and comfortable that I'm protected right. I saved money on taxes this year. You know, we worked throughout the year to reach those goals. We talk personally because every business, comes down into your personal stuff. And so what are your personal goals? And just the feedback I get from these companies that say, I am where I'm at today because of the help and assistance and mentoring and stuff that we got from your business or your connections really is what's great for me. And I work a lot with contractors. So I have companies that have worked with us for the last 3 years who are at $3 million at the end of year 2. And they tell me we would not be there if we didn't have your help and guidance to get there. So that is what is really our exciting stories.
For sure. And me being about 2 years in business, a year and a half full time, one thing that I've noticed over the first year and a half is that I lacked, I was alone. I'm doing it a lone wolf essentially. And, I think a successful business is, at least for a service-based industry or business, I guess, there's you need to have people like you, a team, build a team, like whether it be someone who's not hiring a service like you, or whether you're bringing in bookkeepers and all this stuff yourself or whatever. Like I realized I've needed to build a team, and having services like yours seems like an amazing thing because there's so much stress involved with everything you're talking about.
Exactly. And we felt like, even myself, so I'm right there with you guys, right? Yeah. So that's great, is I get to share my experience.
Yeah, do you have your own precision services?
No, I wish. Yeah. But I do a lot of the same things that I tell my clients to do, and I practice what I'm showing them, and I connect them with the same people who have helped me along the way. So that's been a really great way to kind of be alongside of them in everything as well. But one of the struggles I had when I started is nobody wanted to talk to the little guy. Nobody wanted to answer the 1 or 2 questions I had. It was either all in for this very expensive service package, or they weren't returning my calls. And so we really wanted to take away from that and say, it's okay. It's okay to pick one insurance policy right now, whatever's most important to you. It's okay to say, I am okay with this part of my bookkeeping, but I need help with this. And we're not going to charge you for things you don't need, because there's so many things as a business owner that you have to do and get to know. And so we want to be that person who says, it's okay if you just need this one little piece right now. Let's work on this, make this better. And if that means training you or training your staff to take it over and working you out of our services, we're okay with that. We want to be there for the small businesses and really fill those gaps and make you feel appreciated and make you feel important, even if it's just one little thing that we're helping you with.
Yeah. So even if it's just one little thing, do clients typically find that they want other services?
They do, yes. We typically, like I said, we prioritize. So it might be one thing 1 month. We might be working on bookkeeping for several months. Insurance is always kind of something that I think all the clients share in common because we are a independent agency. We have over 30 different carriers. So I can find the right policies, the right forms, the right coverage at affordable pricing. So that typically is something that they all share in common. But the other stuff is kind of, here as you need it. And let's work on getting you to that level of comfortability to say, do you still need our services? Or maybe you just need us once a quarter to overlook things. Or, maybe you're busy now and so we don't need to do marketing anymore. Where I felt like a lot of places I went, it was like, well, sign a year contract and we're going to do your marketing, but it's going to be X amount of dollars for a year. well, what if I'm busy in 2 months and can't take any more clients? What am I paying for?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really where we wanted to come in and say, it doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
You can have support and people who care about you and your business all along the way. From year 1 to year, 10, 20, we're going to be here to help you as things go up and down.
Yeah, and business is a hard thing to make succeed.
It is a lot of work.
And having a team can help at least stack the cards in your favor to ensure your future or long-term success. Do you I don't know the main reason. Maybe you know some of these statistics. What are some of the main reasons why businesses fail?
I would say it's because lack of support,
Mm-hmm.
lack of help in services, lack of knowing where to go to get things.
Mm-hmm.
We really, when I built my company, one of the first books I read was The Go-Giver.
I love that book.
I love
I've recommended it a lot. It is great.
It is.
I'm so glad you said that. It's a story. I could go. I'm glad you said that.
I loved it. And what it made me realize is, what can I give to the people I care about, to the community, to the clients? What can I give them that is outside of just the services, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things I decided right from the very beginning is I was going to do the footwork, and try really hard to make connections in the community, know what organizations are available, and provide a free resource center to people. So when they come in for that initial meeting, I have a whole resource center in the conference room with brochures and cards and connections to those resources. So when you leave, everything that we've talked about that I know, a class at the SBDC or a SCORE mentor could help with, or whatever the case may be, a chamber that you could get involved in that would help. I have those connections and resources for you right when we meet, so that we can make those connections and help you to be more successful, to not carry the burden of everything, to not have that support. Even as business owners, right? We need that mental support. I need friends and mentors and coaches to help me along the way as well.
Yeah.
So we try to provide that as not just the services, but those connections as well to others in our community.
How are you from Colorado Springs?
I'm not from, but I've been here about 25 years.
Okay, so that's a long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah. So you've seen it grow.
I have.
You're not probably, obviously, a big part of the community.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we have such a great community.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so much to be said for Colorado Springs and the group of people in our community that are entrepreneurs or community-based organizations that help entrepreneurs. I mean, we have a really great thing here in the Springs that you are not going to find in very many places.
For sure.
Especially as big as we are.
Yeah.
It is still a small town feel.
It really is. Yeah. That's one of the first, I've said that exact phrase when my first couple of months being here. And that's kind of why I like it, because where I'm from, Kansas City kind of has a small town feel. And so I like that. I like that aspect about this. So that means you started your commercial commercial insurance commercial insurance while here in Colorado Springs. This is where you found your roots in that.
That's right.
Okay.
This will always be our home office. I mean, I do have big goals and dreams, and I plan on expanding throughout the U.S. to at least 5 other locations. But that was actually
my next question. So that was
perfect. This will always be home base for us. I will always look for communities that are similar to the Springs. I really like what we offer and the connections.
So Kansas City is right next door.
Well, great. I might have to check into that.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't really have connections there. I built all my connections here. This is my first time networking, my first time trying to actually not first time trying to grow a business, but some of the realizations I had in growing my business, Behemoth Visuals, were realized here in Colorado Springs. If I would have realized them in Kansas City, I probably would have had some other successful businesses, which networking is a huge one. Actually getting your name out there and connecting with people, that's huge. And so I actually know more people in Colorado Springs, and I've only been here 2 years.
Well, and you have done a great job making those connections.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great to see your growth and see all the people talking about you and the momentum that you have going on right now. This is a very exciting time for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. It is very exciting. And I'm sure it's exciting for you too. I mean, I see you going out there and doing your thing too.
It is, yes. I think the biggest struggle for me, and I know that a lot of people in the community are dealing with this as well, is scaling up. So we have a lot of great resources for startups. And helping you get your business off the ground. But I feel like one of the things that Colorado Springs lacks is really that help for people in their 3 to 5 year range when you are growing, you're trying to learn leadership, you're trying to get out of that day-to-day operation stuff and hire people that you can trust and fit within your culture. And there's not a lot of people here that in that job force looking for jobs, and how do you fill that and grow and maintain, for me, it's very important to maintain our level of customer service and, the attention that my clients get. And I get fearful that if I don't find people soon, I either have to stop growing or I have to, let something slip or suffer. And that's not something as a business owner, when you spend all this time networking and growing and building this great thing, that's not something you want to deal with. And I feel like a lot of people struggle at this point of how to grow and how to get to that next level. And I don't know that we have some really good solutions for that yet. So I'm trying to work with a couple organizations, the Pike Peak Workforce Center, the Small Business Development Center, to really pinpoint how can we change that. And especially in the insurance industry, it's a shame that nobody comes out of high school and says, I want to be an insurance agent. Because
is it a shame?
Yes, because I love my job. I love working with businesses. Nothing is the same. And I think, I get such satisfaction from being able to help people that I wish more people could see this. So just to even get licensed, and there's a lot of things that go into it to even be able to get into the field. So I've been talking with the Pikes Peak Workforce Center about, is this a class we could offer to people just graduating high school? Or is there something that we can do to bring in that interest within our community? Because it is necessary, and it needs to be done. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be something that our community can pull together and say, okay, where do people in that 3 to 5 year mark get that assistance, get that help for that growth, and really understand how to get to that next level?
Yeah, sweet. Well, I think we'll start wrapping this up. Is there anything specifically you'd like to promote today?
No, not really.
Okay, sweet.
I just really, like I said, I've been watching you, and you've had some great people on the show, a lot of really good friends of mine, and really excited to see all your growth, and just wanted to come and share in that with you and tell you congratulations and be a part of it.
Thank you. Yeah. And, I hope we become really good friends too.
I would love that.
Yeah. Well, sweet. This has been a great episode. It's been a great time hanging out with you basically all morning.
Yes, from 1 million cups to here.
Yes, exactly. So we'll see you guys on the next episode. Don't forget, this is the #1 podcast in Colorado Springs.
That's right. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.